I'm at the flying field with my dad and Pete. It's after a few major rainstorms, and I just saw a large bird that looked like a vulture fly to the old abandoned nest on the cliffside. Let's go check it out. All right, let's get our heading. Ascend to about 30 feet. All right, let's go. Half stick forward normal mode, sport mode, full stick forward sport mode. .42 miles an hour, gaining some altitude. Easing up, normal mode. Let's see if we can see this bird. Slowing down. 7 miles an hour. Easing up. I don't see anything. Let's go ahead and get a bit closer.
Hey, I'm gonna get to see an airplane fly. Wow.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Easing up.
Be careful, Pete. It's a little.
I think I see something there, switching into cinema mode.
It's pretty damp. Like
Yeah.
the radio sitting on the water.
Yeah. I've got to sit on the rubber underneath.
Now, I wouldn't approach this nest if I thought there were young in it, but I know for a fact there's not young, because I've been keeping track of this empty nest for a while,
Yeah.
and I know there's nothing in it.
Or you can put it over here with.
But it looks now
Sitting on the plastic. All right, let me check.
that there might be a pair of birds in this nest.
And Pete, it wasn't that expensive.
I like to do one for my house.
Oh, you can help. Yeah,
I do. I'd like to.
Yeah, I can. That's it's interesting.
But I like
We
to-
don't seem to
you
be
know,
alarming
in
them,
fact, I only want to climb on it.
so let's get a bit closer.
Don't climb on the roof. Do you have a spot where you can put it where you would then have to get up on the roof?
Put your backyard back wall. Put a color.
I'll think of one. Let me look around. Think about it.
I don't want to get quality one when it's got good bearings, good this, good that.
No. Okay. These ambient weather.
Easing up. This might be a pair
That
of
cost
golden
is-
eagle. I can't tell what they are from here.
A lot easier to look up the fingernail.
Oh yeah. That's,
Well, they told me at first. They said, I don't think you can really do it.
you did it.
Well, maybe. It's like I said.
Wow. So these two golden eagle might be deciding whether or not to make this their nest, this nest that's been abandoned for at least 6 months. I've been keeping track of this nest, and there's been nothing in it. But it's in a great location because they can see the ponds from here. And they can see things like small or large rodents.
online. I can
on the
show it to
perimeter
you.
of the pond,
Okay,
or
let
ducks.
me take
Yeah,
off
you
when
do
I
your
land.
thing. I'm gonna let it sit and
Yeah,
make
let
sure
it
that it's
sit.
updating. Hey, that's cool.
Oh, look at that screech.
Oh, you're gonna love this beat.
Look at all the lichen on the side of this cliff. Makes for a beautiful shot. Now remember, I do use editing in my videos, so the drone is not as close as it appears. What I do is I use the high resolution of the Mavic Air to zoom in on the animal. It's the equivalent of cropping with a photograph. And these two eagle, they seem really at ease with the drone, probably because they've encountered the drone here before. I fly it a lot in this area. It also has propellers which are designed to be quieter than normal propellers. Look at the pruning activity. That's so fascinating. I love that. And I thought this was a vulture at first, but these are two golden eagle. I can tell by the tips of their beak and by the size, although it is difficult to judge the size of the animal from the drone. I don't want to attribute too much human characteristic to the animal, but it's hard not to imagine that they're deciding whether or not this is a good nesting location. I am working with a bit of a breeze, but it's nothing that would pose a risk to the drone with this degree of proximity to the cliffside. Look at how it manipulates the branch with both its beak and its claws.
Juice you gave it at the end. That's what I'm learning.
Let's give it some altitude and gimbal down
It's kind of what
slightly.
you have to do in this type of jet. And the reason why is because you got to have a fixed attitude to land. It can't be nose level, it's got to be, you want to land on the mains. So when you want to keep your pitch fixed, the only way, there's two ways to arrest a sink rate. The airplane's sinking. One is pull back on the elevator.
Gives you more lift.
With really long airplanes like
And that beeping is a proximity alert off the cliff face Doesn't have anything to do with the battery. My battery is sufficiently charged right now for the range that I'm at. Range just over 3,200 feet.
Quickly and not have enough speed and try to get lift off. You require more of a pitch attitude, you can bang the tail. So, either pull back, risk banging the tail, or you add a gust of power. By adding just a stab of power, you're increasing your airspeed quickly, which gives you more lift. There's a little bit more of a lag doing that. It's quicker doing this than it is doing this. But if you're thinking ahead, go, okay, where's that? I'm gonna pull. I normally pull back.
All right, I've got my right thumb on the aft thrust just in case
Just lead it.
it gets a bit breezy. In fact, let's pull aft just a little.
Is that the one in the boat? Stall, yeah. I didn't look at it real close, but I kind of.
We might get a manned aircraft alert here in a second. I hear a plane coming in.
They should not have been in that position in the first
Because I
place.
think they went in
They were
like
too
this,
low.
right? Yeah,
They were low. And there was an inexperienced pilot flying it. Probably the captain couldn't save it.
They got 9 years of experience. She actually,
Oh, look at the shake of the head and the feathers around the neck. It's such a privilege to be able to observe these animals in their natural environment. And I love that I get to share this with animal lovers everywhere.
But sometimes you may not catch it in time.
oh, that happened.
It's taken a lot of training
Probably didn't have time to react.
to be able to fly this drone confidently in situations like this.
That's the practice, right?
If you practice, you don't have to think. Yeah. And they don't have simulators like we do.
You know, that could be it too.
And I do encourage people to use drones to explore the natural world, but it's important to do it responsibly and gradually. You don't want to start with a heavy, expensive drone. You want to start with a trainer drone. That way you can learn all the different flight maneuvers and encounter various situations in a controlled way. Under 250 grams is a great way to start in terms of drone mass.
You go to their website, they have an app. I think you can go right to their website. I think.
And I don't see things like this every day. In fact, I'll
I've never done it
probably
outside of
fly
me doing it.
20 to 30 times and not see something
I'll have to have.
incredible like this.
Yes. So here's our. It's called ambient weather net. Ambient weather. Yeah. It's called
On the vast majority of my flights, I don't see any animals except for ducks. And I do love ducks. I have a great video where I recorded some ducklings.
This one's good because it's possibly quick versus check that.
That was the Mavic Air 2S as well. In this area, I recently recorded a couple deer with the Mavic Air 2, not the 2S. I wish that I was flying the Air 2S at the time because it has a much better sensor. The colors are wonderful with the Mavic Air 2S, as you can see.
Copy that link.
Okay. The pressure's going up. There it is. There's a lot of humidity, UV index, or radiation. What the batteries are in the thing, and then today's forecast. Everything. Maximum daily gust, 7.3.
For the wind.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So
It's ambient weather net. Yeah, I mean, if we'll see if this thing stays solid for a bit. Wow, that'd be cool. I'm not having any problem with the voltage. 13.7 still.
Just thinking.
Well, it is about time, according to my battery discharge indicator here, that we return the Mavic Air 2S.
Did it give you your location from the location?
So let's go ahead and get some perspective here.
This is it, right? It may be slow. Add ambient tone stream. Okay.
A nice, large cavern for these two eagles. A nest that I had theorized was from an osprey, but I really don't know. And it might be taken over in the near future. And I got such a good look at this nest that I think I'm going to stay away from it from now on, just to allow these two eagles to maybe raise young there.
You have to log in.
Pulling aft.
That's it right there. This works on the app phone.
All right, let's get our return home heading.
So you can say right now, it's
Switching into normal mode.
wind 4 miles an hour.
You can see the flying field out there in the distance. Full stick forward, descending.
See, look what you have there.
That's my dashboard.
Sport mode. Full stick forward.
Doesn't give you. See, that's why I like Weather Underground. You know, Weather Underground. I'll send you the Weather Underground when it populates. Oh, shit.
Okay.
So when it populates,
WEATER. Whether
underground.
33 miles an hour. Coming into the helipad at Hall Field. Normal mode. Easing up on the forward thrust. Wow, what an experience. I can't believe what we just saw. I'm so excited to share that with my parents and with everyone who's going to enjoy it online, on YouTube. Really special and not something you see every day. I'd love to know whether or not those two eagles use that as a nesting location, but like I said, I think the more responsible thing to do is to stay away from that nest from now on, now that we've had a good look at it. Wonderful. All right, let's land the Mavic Air 2S.
Landing.
And cut.